Alright, hey guys, this is Burt from SoftTubes, and I'm back with another movie review, but straight up, I just want to say apologies. There wasn't a video on Tuesday. Basically what happened was I had planned it out so that Monday afternoon I was going, after work, I was going to record all the movie reviews because I have a few to get through. As you might know if you watched some, believe it was one of the reactions. I think it was the Terminator reaction, I mentioned it. A lot of movies to get through. And I was like, oh, I'll do them all in one go, I'll just get them all done. And then the problem was that just before I got to it, because I was like, I came home, sit down for a minute, it was going to I'll watch some for half an hour, then I'll record. I didn't even get to finish watching what I was watching, because as I was sitting there watching it, power went out. It was windy that day, something happened, hit power lines or something, and we just lost power. And I was waiting for it to come back on, and it didn't come on for several hours, so it just didn't happen. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to record then, so I wasn't able to get something ready for Tuesday, but now we're going again. So hopefully I can get everything going in line this time. But anyway, so today I'm going to be reviewing Aladdin, the latest live-action remake of an animated classic from Disney, which undoubtedly we're going to get a lot more of. We have a Lion King coming up. There's still talks about even more after that. So, straight up, so far these remakes have been a little bit They're technically well made for the most part, with some shining parts in them. They're just a bit lackluster overall, and that's kind of disappointing given how much love people have of the animated classics that these are based on. And unfortunately, Aladdin doesn't really do anything to dramatically shift this trend. I think it's a step better. I was going to say right in the right direction, but I think it's just a step better necessarily, not maybe the right direction yet. We have to see. So, all of this might sound a little overly critical, and that's not actually how I intend this to be. Thing is, I actually enjoyed myself watching Aladdin. I was really worried going into this movie because of Dumbo. I saw Dumbo and I was very unimpressed, very bored during most of that movie. And just ultimately And so Aladdin, I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really keen to watch another one of these. But there are a lot of good things here. And sadly, though, it just doesn't quite capture the magic it needed to become something truly special. It's not bad, it's just not quite good enough. And I'll sort of get through what I'm sort of talking about. I'm also going to point out now that what I'm going to do at the end here is I'm going to have two, and that's four technically, two ratings for this film. So I'll explain it a bit more when I get up to it, but I'm going to have two just so you know right now. It's a little bit different. I probably should have done this with Dumbo, technically, but, it's a thing I'm going to try and do in the future. So, straight up, I'm going to talk about set design, which I found a little underwhelming at first. My first reactions of it, and from the trailers too, everything felt more like a stage than it felt like a real world. It didn't feel lived in. And that was really pulling me out of the film for a really long time into this movie. I was still sitting there going it still looks like it's a set. It doesn't look like this is a real place. I don't feel like Agrabah is somewhere you could have gone at any point in history, except on the backlot of some movie studio. That's where you can see Agrabah. It didn't feel real. Which, that is a problem with these sort of things, doing animated live action, is you still want some of that whimsicalness, but it sometimes doesn't necessarily go right. Thing was, the more I sort of watched it, the more I sort of got used to it. So it actually does fit the musical style of the film. It's a musical. So the fact that it looks like a stage musical in set design actually kind of works. And so once I sort of let it grow on me, and it sort of did over time, I started to actually appreciate a lot of the work that went into those sets and the amount of actual physical sets involved, because there's a lot of physical sets. There's definitely a lot of green screen work or blue screen work going on, but there's a lot of physical sets still involved in this film, and it's quite incredible to look at how much they would have made for this thing, which in itself is quite impressive and quite good, nice to look at and think about while watching it. Even if it doesn't necessarily make things better, it at least kind of helps there. The editing, though, was a real hit or miss affair. So, particularly during certain scenes, it wasn't a problem all the way through the movie, but there were certain scenes where it was really a problem. One of the ones that springs to mind and it stuck out so hard for me is during the One Jump Ahead song musical number at the towards the start of the film. There's these weird moments where watching it, it'll suddenly slow down, and slow-mo is very popular in film at the moment, it seems like. And especially slow-mo without a reason, because of the thing, it would slow down, or it would speed up, which is a little weirder. You don't see sped up footage very often these days. So it really stands out. But the thing is, like a lot of slow-mo these days, they were kind of done without purpose. They weren't really showing us anything more. It was just them running across the thing, and suddenly it would slow down. Or they'd be running around a corner and it would speed up. And it was these really weird, jarring changes that just they were really hard to watch. I was sitting there constantly questioning why. Why are you speeding up or slowing down in these moments? Why are you not just showing us footage? And it's kind of weird because they put effort into it from what I can tell. This wasn't just a choice. They didn't just randomly decide screw it, we'll speed it up here. It looks kind of nice. If you're watching them sing, it looks very deliberate in choosing because the lyrics still seem to match the speed, even when it's doing one or the other. The song doesn't get pulled out because they've slowed it down or whatever. It doesn't desync. It's still in sync. So that was a very deliberate choice, and I wonder why. Why was that a deliberate choice? It doesn't happen, I don't think, again in the film, just for that one song, and it doesn't make sense in that one song. The story is also a little badly structured, and a lot of this I put down to them expanding it. And this is the problem I have with a lot of this when they're going animated to live action, is they're making longer movies. Today, these days, 2-hour films are pretty damn common. You want to keep people in those seats for a while and make them feel like they got money's worth, so they're more likely to spend money. But the original film's an hour and a half. This film's 2 hours. So there's a half hour of padding put in here. A lot of the padding's actually pretty good. The problem comes in the way it's structured in putting that in there. Some sections just don't fit together as well as they should, and it causes moments where actors will kind of act contrary to what previous evidence suggests. There's one thing where something's revealed, and they're totally okay with it, but then it's revealed again, and without any other context aside from it being revealed again, they have a different reaction to that same thing. And I don't know, maybe this is... It has been a long time since I've seen Aladdin, and maybe this particular instance I'm talking about does occur in the original film. Maybe. I don't know. But it still is very, very strange to watch, and really disrupts the flow of the film overall, and doesn't really make a lot of sense. And it's not a big problem, necessarily. It was something that stuck out to me. I'm sure a lot of people won't even notice it. They've completely probably forgotten about the other things. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it is a problem in the structure of the film. But I'm going to say, this has been pretty negative so far. I actually have no problem with any of the musical numbers in this film. I know some people had really harsh reactions towards some of the ones that were revealed ahead of the film. There was one where I don't know if it was the whole thing, I never watched it, but they had Prince Ali, that whole song, or part of that song was released a little early, and people did not like it. I mean, there were definitely some people that did, but there was a lot of harsh reactions towards it. But honestly, every musical number is well constructed, well executed, and makes sense given the scope of this film. This isn't an animated film. And this may not be a perfect defense, because the argument can be made it didn't need to be remade. It's a weird sentence. But the thing is, it's not an animated film. They're doing a live action film. Animated films, you can do a lot more crazy stuff, especially with Genie. You can't really do that with live action as well, because it costs a lot more money comparatively to do that for one scene. So you have to be very careful with when you do things. And you can't... So, for this, they really embrace the fact that it is live action. So they try to find a way to make things feel a bit new and fresh with that, when, I mean, they're not entirely, but they try to find a way to make it work. And that totally is fine. It totally works. The songs aren't badly put together, they're all well performed. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe things aren't as magical as they could be, but there's nothing wrong with the way that they've done the musical numbers or the choreography and stuff like that. It still works. And so, like, there's only really... I don't know how many new songs are in this. It has been a while since I've seen Aladdin. But there is one new song in the film called Speechless. I actually quite like this song. And the way it was incorporated, even if the second usage of it, because it has two parts, one part is earlier on and then one part comes later. The second part, the way the musical number, like it's not really a musical number as such, it's a solo song that just has movement and effects going on. It's a little bit jarring at first, because you're just like, wait, what's going on now? And then you sort of go, oh, okay, I get it. But it takes that moment, and it's a little bit weird at first. But what I really like about the song is the fact that it's used as part of an effort to give Jasmine more agency in the film. They try to give her stronger purposes and desires. They actually try to build her out as a character, which is something that the animated film from memory was lacking a bit in. They actually try to give her a real reason for being and doing stuff. It's not perfect, and by any means, and it's part of what causes some scenes to feel a bit disjointed, but it works. It definitely works. And I mean, Naomi Scott as Jasmine was a good choice for me. I found her to be the character I liked most in this film. Like, every time she was on, I was like, oh cool, Jasmine's back. I don't know if I've ever felt that way about the animated original, but here I was like, cool, Jasmine's back on screen, I'm friggin' all good with this. Mena Masad, I don't know if I'm going to say Masood. I don't know if I'm going to say a lot of these names right. I really apologize. I really should have looked up freaking how to say them first. I didn't. But I think Mena steps nicely into the shoes of Aladdin. He has a real charm about him. There's a few moments that he feels a bit arrogant, but I don't know whether that's acting or script. It could be just the way things were scripted makes it feel more arrogant. And Will Smith is the one a lot of people had issues with the way he looked and stuff. I think he looks fine in this film. There was a couple of moments that looked a bit but overall looked pretty damn good. And this is the most I've enjoyed Will Smith in a while. He has been pretty for a long time now. He was pretty damn good in this. And so, like, and it was clever because they don't make his genie just an imitation of Williams's genie. And it's kind of similar to how the stage show, that genie is not Williams's genie, and it's not Will Smith's genie. They're all three separate genies. They're all very different and have very different takes. And I think that's a smart move. Kind of differentiates things. One other thing some people had problem with was Marwan Kenzari's Jafar. In the trailers, they felt he wasn't very menacing. Honestly, if you felt that way, this movie's probably not going to change your mind. I actually enjoyed him as a cunning, conniving villain that, to me, it makes sense that people would trust him as an advisor. The animated film is pretty obviously a villain. I don't know why anyone would trust him, but here I'm like, yeah, I could totally see him being on board and people liking him. But, yeah, if you didn't think he was menacing enough, it's not gonna change. You still won't really think it by the end. There is one new character in the film at least, Dahlia, played by Nasim Pedrad. She's a handmaiden to Jasmine, and at first glance her character doesn't really seem to be needed, but I actually found her character is part of the attempt to give Jasmine more agency, and her character of Dahlia actually goes a long way to helping position Jasmine and humanize certain moments in the rest of the film. Maybe not a completely necessary introduction, but she doesn't hurt the film at all. She helps certain moments, so it's absolutely fine. Ultimately, it may not be the best film. It's enjoyable, and that's the main thing. I mean, it isn't good enough to earn a great rating from me, but it does earn some points for me from trying new things with the source. They didn't just try to remake it exactly. They went, okay, we'll do certain bits, but then we'll try and add some new things. But here is where my 2 ratings come in. So, I saw it the opening weekend, basically. I didn't see it, I saw it on Sunday. So I didn't see it like the opening couple days, open on Thursday. I didn't get to see it till Sunday. I was in an audience with, there was some people about my age who would have grown up on the animated and were there, and some other people and stuff like that. But there were a lot of kids, and a lot of families and stuff like that. The kids seem to love this movie. This is the only movie I have ever seen children applaud at the end. Parents probably started it, but they applauded, and I've never seen that happen. So they seem to really enjoy this film. And that's the thing. This is a children's movie. The demographic is children. It's not me. I'm not the demographic for Aladdin. Disney are probably like, you know what? If friggin' people like me like it, then that's cool. They make more money. If I don't, doesn't really bother them because they made a children's movie. It's meant for children. That is the point. Like, they didn't remake it so people who love the original can come in and be like, meh, it's not the original. They made it for children who may not have seen the original, or like, this is their film. This is for those children. So, this is why I'm doing 2 ratings, because one is for me and the way I felt, and one is for how I feel about it as a children's film for children, and especially the way they reacted to it. So as a children's film, it's a 4 out of 5. It's not the best children's film. There are some better children's films you could show to kids, but it's a damn good children's, like, oh God, I keep saying children's film a lot. It's kind of getting on me. But it's a damn good children's film. It's pretty damn good. Like, it works. Kids like it. That's all that really matters. The kids like it. It doesn't have any bad messaging. It has good messages. Everything is cool here. It's all copacetic. But for me, because of issues with the scripting and the editing and things like that, it's only a 3.5. I wanted it to be higher. I'm glad it's higher than Dumbo, but I couldn't really bring myself to put it much higher than that, and that kind of sucks. But that's just how I felt, and that was just because of issues that stood out to me. And I totally believe that, like, from what I've seen, and like my sister went and saw it, and she really enjoyed it. She understood there were issues, but they don't really bother her. They're not issues that bother her because she's not looking at a film in that way. I'm sort of analyzing it a little bit more, so things that stand out a little bit more, and I start questioning them more. So that's just how it kind of works. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is a bit of a long one, longer than I expected for Aladdin. If you like this video, leave a like or a dislike if you didn't like it. Let me know what you thought of Aladdin in the comments below. From what I understand, it's actually getting, like, on the user reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are actually pretty good, so it seems like a lot of people are actually enjoying it, which is interesting given the amount of hate this film was kind of getting. Well, not hate, but dislike this film was getting beforehand. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, good on you for staying this far through a review. This is a long one. But yeah, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. It's all pretty much reviews for the rest of this week. Then I might be able to squeeze in a reaction. There's a few things I still need to react to, but if I don't get them in, they're going to be over the weekend. I'm going to just keep trying to churn them out. There random times if it happens on the weekend, but that's kind of my plan at this point. Like, there's, like, Swamp Thing and stuff like this, and the Picard series. Like, there's trailers for that stuff coming out, so I'm going to try and get that in there. It just may not happen during the week due to time restraints and all that sort of stuff. Like, this is part of the reason I'm recording a bit now, to get myself ready. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
That's where Forky is being kept.
How do we get that key?
Huh.
What about the old plush rush?
There you go.
Oh, where did you two come from?
Well, we're not doing that.